Billy and Beezer for the opportunity. You know, there's nothing like representing your country, and I'm certainly excited to have this opportunity. As Billy said, we go way back, and excited to be on his staff, and looking forward to doing anything and everything he needs for us to put a successful team on the ice. So, thank you.
All right, thanks much. And we will, I know the guys will be happy to take your questions. We'll use the raise hand function. I think everybody on here will know this topic is relative, this news conference is relative to the Olympics and not to NHL teams. So if we can keep the line of questioning to that, appreciate it. And we're going to start, Nick, with you. Your mic should be open. Please go ahead.
This is for Pat or for Bill. Have you received the handbook from the Beijing Organizing Committee? Do you have any clarity on what the protocols will be? And just what is the state of whether players are going to participate?
Yes, we received an updated playbook yesterday. We continue to grind through it. It's quite a hefty document, as you can imagine. We are working from the USA Hockey side with not only the NHL and discussions with the NHLPA, but also with our U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee. We certainly are hopeful that all systems will be go by the time we get ready to go to Beijing. But there's certainly still work to be done. So as I think alluded to multiple times here, there are a lot of moving parts. There are things that still have to be discussed and hopefully answered so that everybody can feel the best about sending the best players to the Olympics from the NHL.
Can you say what the quarantine rules are, basically, if a player tests positive?
Still working to get finalization on that from the USOPC, Nick.
All right, Nick, thanks much. Next, we'll go to Jess Myers. Jess, your mic should be open. Please go ahead.
Question for Bill or for Chris. Tell us about your Olympic experience when the two of you were roommates, and specifically, who thought it would be a good idea to put an eagle and a terrier in the same room? I'm just wondering how that worked out.
You'd be surprised how well eagles and terriers get along after we leave our respective schools. But Chris and I mean, in my eyes, we had a great Olympics experience together, and we always laughed that we took the longest pregame nap in the history of the Olympics. I think we slept for 5 hours because of all the jet lag. But like I said, Chris and I go way back. We've been friends for a long time. I have tremendous faith in him. He's an extremely bright guy and very trustworthy. So I'm really lucky to have him with me.
Drew?
Yeah, Billy, he's not that much older than me, but he's certainly a guy that I've always looked up to, even back when I was in youth hockey in high school. Being a fellow guy from New England that played college hockey in New England, and went on to have an unbelievable career. And he's a guy that I leaned on throughout my playing career and now in my management career. So it's an honor to be working for him on this team, and exciting stuff for sure.
Quite the BCBU matchup here recently, guys. Huh? Anybody get a chance to catch? I know. I should probably bring that up for BU fans, but good tilt. All right, let's move ahead to Greg Wyshynski. Wish, your mic should be open. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Fish. Hey, Billy, and Chris, congratulations. Billy, for you, can you talk a bit about the journey for you in getting this job and hearing about Stan Bowman stepping aside? And what have your conversations been like with Stan since that news broke?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different path. Some unfortunate situations along the way, but Stan and I have remained in contact. Stan's a friend, and he was doing a heck of a job, and I was proud to be on his staff. Unfortunately, things turned out the way they did, and we're here today. So it's been a bit of a bumpy ride, but we have a job to do, and we have to remain focused and steadfast on that. And it's just we just have to focus on the hockey right now. And like I said, a bit of a bumpy road getting here, but we're here, and we have to focus on the task at hand.
All right, thanks, Wish. Mr. Russo, your mic should be open. Welcome, please go ahead.
A couple questions. First, Beezer, what are your memories of playing with Bill Guerin and at some of these Olympic tournaments and getting to know him over the years with USA Hockey?
Well, first of all, he had a very heavy shot, so it was very difficult in practice to stop him. But Billy's always known for a big time character guy, and it is in that he is in his position today. Great experience and leadership and honesty, and I think that that means a lot to us as we communicate to the players, and they know that we have a guy with a very strong voice and is going to back it up. That's how he was as a player, and it appears that's the way he is as a manager, and so we're very fortunate.
And just Billy, what has these last couple of months been like, just sort of waiting for this? I'm sure you would have hoped that this was, done several weeks ago, but obviously the experience, the situation that you've been dealing with.
You know what? Like, it's been up and down. But like I said, we're here today. This is a very happy day for me and my family. My wife and my kids are extremely excited about this opportunity. And it's just, you know what? There have been some ups and downs, but today's a very happy day, and I'm extremely honored to be here. This is the chance of a lifetime.
Can I just ask one thing on Jack Eichel? What's the latest that you're hearing with his potential availability or not availability?
You know what? I've been in touch with Jack's agent, but on the details of those conversations, I need to keep between him and I.
All right, Michael, thank you. Let's go over to Rachel Blow, Star Tribune. Rachel, welcome. Your mic should be open.
Great, thank you. My question is for Bill and Chris. Do you anticipate there will be any significant number of NHL players who say, you know what, I don't think I want to participate. I'm nervous about this. I'm not too sure about everything that's happening in China. Would you anticipate your player pool might change because of that?
Well, I mean, there's always the possibility of that. I think, part of our responsibility is to make sure that they feel comfortable going, to get all the information that we can and pass it along to them. And, the last thing we want to do is put anybody in harm's way. So I think to give the players a comfort level that they're going to be taken care of and looked after is very important.
Drew, anything to add there?
No, I think Billy summed it up. Obviously it's an evolving situation, but I would think to date there hasn't been much talk of that. But things change, and we'll see where things are when we got to pick the team.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Rachel. Let's go to John Morrow. John, welcome. Your mic is open.
Thanks, Dave. Bill, this is just a follow-up on the Jack Eichel situation. I understand you want to keep it private, but does your conversations, or can you say whether you can rule out Jack going to Beijing or not rule out Jack going to Beijing?
I won't rule out anybody.
Fair. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, John. Let's go to Ken Campbell. Kenny, your mic's open. Please go ahead.
All right, thanks, Bill. I'm just sort of looking at your roster, and it's interesting. You talk about the player pool, and you've got some interesting choices to make, I would think. You could, you've got some young guys who will be in their first Olympics. The possibilities of, Jack Hughes and Brady Tkachuk, guys like that. But you've also got some veteran guys in, the Ryan Suters, the Blake Wheelers, the Ryan McDonoughs, Jacob Trubas, that kind of thing. When you look at how you want to build your team and the identity of your team, have you decided whether you want to go, with more experience or kind of go sort of more on the younger side?
Well, Ken, I think there has to be a blend. I mean, we can't necessarily focus on one or the other. We have to build what we feel is the best team. And sometimes you need that youthful energy. Sometimes you need that older veteran experience. So I think there's got to be a little bit of both, to be quite honest with you.
All right, thanks, Ken. Let's go to Alan Adams. Alan, welcome. Your mic is open. Let's see. Okay, we lost Alan.
Yeah. Let me try again. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Go ahead, Alan.
Morning, David. I'm not sure which of you gentlemen can answer this, but what's Plan B? There is an opt-out clause of Jan 10 for the NHL and NHLPA not to go? Should they not go? What happens? Where do you find a team?
John?
Yeah, thanks, Alan, for the question. And plan B is we'd have to look at what our total options are. Last time through, there were some American Hockey League players available, players playing in Europe and the NCAA. So that would be likely our player pool to answer the question directly. But we are focused, as Bill said, on plan A, and hopefully we get there.
All right, thanks, Alan. Next up, we go to Chris Peters. Mr. Peters, your mic is open. Please go ahead.
Thanks. I've got one for John and one for Bill. And basically for Bill first, we know that there's a long list that you guys have to work off of in terms of like an entry list that had to be submitted. About how many players are you working off of on that particular list?
You mean how long is the long
Yeah,
list?
how long is the long list?
It's about 55 players.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And for John, my question is basically, how are you going? This is off of the Plan B thing. So I'm assuming you guys are kind of working on that in the periphery. Is there anybody else that's kind of helping you out with that? I know you got kind of World Juniors, and then there's also, this possible potential scramble. And is there any issues in terms of, having guys on the long list in terms of like World Anti-Doping Agency or anything that you have to go through to kind of get guys cleared for that?
Chris, yeah, thanks for that question. And of course we do. We have to comply with USADA and all of that for sure. And in the background, I think there's been a good collaboration of work. Obviously right now within the U20 and the World Junior search for players and selecting a team, that's there. But in the background, we've had to pay attention to all those factors. So, but as you know, and the reason for the question here is that it is completely fluid, but we've been putting our full focus on our NHL players going and working directly with Bill and Chris and the group on our selection process there.
All right, thanks much, Chris. Let's go to Rob Simpson. Simmer, your mic's open. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Fish. Gents, I'm just curious about, it's a good problem to have. Your USA goaltending is considered a strength, and Mr. Demko here, first star of the week in Vancouver, maybe overshadowed originally or not paid attention to as much as a Gibby and a Hellebuck, but maybe talk about his emergence and what you're looking at there.
Billy?
Well, I think you're right. I think we have some great options. There are a lot of goaltenders out there that are American goaltenders that are having great years. Thatcher's one of those guys that is having a great year, and the last week he's been fantastic. So we're taking everybody into account. There are difficult decisions to be made at the end of the day, but they're good decisions to have. And like you said, we've got a pretty deep pool of players and goalies in particular.
Beezer, do you have any thoughts on that, or is he too busy doing other stuff, or you had a chance to watch these guys much?
No, I've been getting a lot of questions on Thatcher, and as you know, Ryan Miller is not far removed from an active player, and we think he's got a great mindset for assistance with that. He's been watching a lot of games. I've been in communication with him steadily, and a lot of that stuff is Captain Obvious to me, that they're playing so well and they're going to make a hard decision for Billy and Chris, and that's what we want to have. And we're happy with the development of Thatcher. He's come through our system, and he's been with us at the World Championships and things like that. So we know Thatcher well. We want to have the hot hand, and as you know, that's what you need.
All right, thanks, Rob. Let's go to Chris Bumbaka. Chris, welcome. Your mic is open.
Hey, thanks. Question for Pat. I know the Players Union is planning on holding a couple virtual meetings or talks this week. Is there any information exchange with the union, or is that kind of up to them as far as just providing, details of what they know regarding the playbook?
Yeah, I think they're trying to obviously communicate as much as they can to the players within the union. We're trying to communicate, like I said, with the NHL, the Players Association, our own Olympic Committee. Obviously, these factors, we're all talking about hockey, but when you look at overall the Olympics, these are factors that are important for skiers and lugers and bobsledders and everybody else are under the same guidelines and protocols. So we're just trying to communicate with everybody as best we can, knowing that there still is a lot of uncertainty. But we do feel like the protocols will be there, and that we know there's some of the issues that we're trying to get final answers on. But obviously, the longer we wait on some of these things, we hope the answers can be better for the cause to go and better to provide the best, safest solution that everybody can feel good about to get to Beijing and play hockey.
Got it. And I know the vaccination rate is really high among the NHL player pool, but has there been any discussion of boosters ahead of traveling to Beijing and any potential cutoff dates before travel there?
Yeah, and we'll look at that with our U.S. Olympic Committee. They put out some protocols on that back earlier in the fall for all athletes and everyone going within the Team USA delegation. So we would follow along with those as well and see if there's anything that comes up in the nearer term on that.
All right. Very good. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time today and the questions. Journey lies ahead. You know, all the media on the call, you know where to reach me, and happy to help you as we go along. And Chris, I think, as you know, you have to be vaccinated to participate in the games. That's a criteria for participation as well. So that's it from here. Have a great day, everybody, and we look forward to the journey ahead. Thanks much.